I don't know what's going on with that.
Our theme song isn't working this evening.
Okay. I don't know if you could hear that music on the other side. Nope. There was supposed to be music. Apparently it didn't work. I could try that again. One more shot here.
It's pretty great theme music.
It is. Yep. When it works. We'll try it the old-fashioned way. There.
Yeah, I still hear it.
No theme music this evening.
Oh, well. Try something new.
That's all right. We've got a fantastic guest instead. Who needs theme music
That's
when
right.
we have an amazing guest?
We'll just scrap that whole front part and just welcome back to another Nerdcast. My name is Dan, and today, as always, we have the lovely Chelsea Thompson. Say hello.
Hi guys, I'm actually here today.
She's actually
right next to Dan.
She's actually physically in the same room as me.
I know.
It's weird.
Not phoning it in from another city.
No.
Man, I do this job so half-assed.
It's all the way from Vancouver. No,
I know.
It's crazy.
Except I'm here now.
Yeah, I know.
So exciting.
I'm pumped. Except for everything is going wrong tonight. Earlier I had no audio. Shane had a while before he was able to come in.
The theme song isn't working.
And the theme song's not working. But that's the other thing. Shane is here. Shane from Just Be Cos Cosplay store. Say hello.
Good evening, folks.
Awesome. So on today's show, we have we start off each show with talking about how our weeks was. But later on, we'll get into a little bit more about what Shane does at the Just Be Cos. And we'll start with Chelsea, because we've had so much time off in the last little while.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on with you.
Yeah, well, we decided we were going to take a bit of a break for the first part of summer, but then so much was happening around Edmonton, and you were just getting so many great guests wanting to be on the show. You were like, well, we do this for the nerds, and the nerds are clamoring for more, so we have to give the people what they want.
That's the way it works.
So we're back. But yeah, it's been pretty good. So I work at an independent school, and school finished for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, for the first time in my life, taken the route of taking the summer off, and it's been lovely.
It's been glorious, hasn't it?
It has.
Oh,
it really has.
I'm jealous.
So yeah, and I am in town this week. I drove in on Thursday. Actually, my dad got remarried yesterday, so I was in town for the wedding. So yeah, Friday night I got to come here and hang out and play some Star Wars D&D, and then yesterday I went to the wedding, and now I'm back to do a Nerdcast, and so my week's been pretty great. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Shane, how's your week been so far this week?
It's been a little crazy. We were at OdaFest last weekend, and that was pretty cool. That was our first OdaFest, whether being citizen or vendor. So we really liked it. We liked the vibe there. The venue is great. It's now at the TELUS Convention Center right downtown. And it's got a whole lot of spaces for the little anime kids to hang out in their little groups. And they can flourish and hang out and show off their costumes and whatnot. And then as far as the vendors' point of view, yeah, I think there's about 60 vendors or something like that. So it was nice and even. So everybody managed to make their, a little bit of money here and there. And most of the kids there are just are gobsmacked that we have an actual cosplay store in Alberta. One of the only brick and mortar cosplay stores in Canada. So we're really excited, and everybody's slowly getting excited. We've only been open a month, like on Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. We've only been open a month. So the retail side is open. We've got lots of stock coming in. We had to wait for our brick and mortar to happen in order for the stock to start piling in. So stock is coming in all the time. So I have the retail side open, and then next Sunday I go in to the other side of our store and put the electrical in so we can start doing classes. We're going to do a lot of instructional classes and workshops. Strictly
how to actually fabricate stuff.
Right. So the first class we're going to be doing is Eva Foam armor building with Natasha Renee. She is a goddess of Eva Foam, so nobody else better to do it. Then we'll be doing a complete thermoplastics course. Rather than just having one thermoplastic, we have a sample of all the thermoplastics we carry, so you can find out what plastics you like to play with most. And then working from there, we've had lots of people coming in asking if they want to teach stuff. So we've never actually approached anybody yet. People have just been coming at us. So let's see, we've got
vacuforming.
Not just yet, because that takes a little bit of an equipment thing to move into. But I did meet a guy who does vacuum forming. So he lives in Calgary though. So we might be able. I'm sure there might be somebody local that does vacuum forming as well. We'll be doing sewing classes, 2 different sewing classes, corsetry, body paint, casting and helmet design. And then the list is going on and on. Just ran into a guy who came in here yesterday that does his own electrical work. So he's designing a suit that has very basic electronics in it. So he said, you want me to come in to teach? So yeah, sure. So that's usually my answer is yep, sure. So
Sure, let's do it.
Oh, it all sounds amazing.
All right, so we will get to all that a little bit later on during the show.
Sure.
In more detail.
In more detail, yeah, for sure.
Yes, officially my week was we're back from AutoFest and we're happy to be back, and now it's back to work. That's
awesome. Well, we're super excited to have you on the show today. As far as my week has been.
So, yeah, how's your week?
It's been pretty good. I had a whole bunch of people over here on Friday, which
I was one of them.
Chelsea being one of them. We had our Star Wars, our bi-weekly Star Wars get together, and it went pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
This week was one of those weeks where
we unleashed a super big baddie, which we're all kind of shaking in our boots about.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what else did we do? Oh, and Trina, my lovely wife, who has been soulfully against me playing this thing, she's
hooked. She's got a character. She's a Twilight assassin, and she's a badass.
Yeah, and she's loving it.
The two of us are discussing a lesbian relationship between our characters, so we'll keep you updated on how that unfolds.
It's built into her backstory that she just apparently doesn't like guys. So I built the backstory.
Well, she was kidnapped and enslaved to be a concubine. I don't really blame her.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll see how that plays out, I guess. So anyways, let's just move into our news. I believe we should have some music. Again, I don't have any music today.
Oh, that's right. We were having theme songs for the different segments.
Yeah,
that was a new thing.
That was going to happen, but
that's all right. Today we can just move right into it.
Yeah.
Because we've got some pretty fun news items today, actually.
Yeah.
Because we're all basically kids stuck in grown-up bodies on this show. We're gonna start with the world's largest Nerf gun. So there's a YouTube video that's been posted on a YouTube channel, and actually it's a collaboration between a couple YouTube channels that are all about like extreme engineering. And they've gotten together and they have engineered the world's largest Nerf gun, which is basically an air-powered potato cannon on steroids. But they've built it to actually look like an actual Nerf gun. The darts they built out of pool noodles and plungers, so they actually stick to stuff.
Yeah, he actually stuck it to like a
roadside.
A roadside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So it's pretty great. They have a bunch of video going head to head against actual Nerf guns to see how they stack up, how much further it shoots. And then they talked about modifications that they've done. So they 3D printed a a projectile specifically for like a distance test to see how aerodynamic they could make it, and they shot it something like 130 yards or something like that.
It was further than the football field.
Yeah. And then they 3D printed some other projectiles that were specifically meant to like destroy things, and shot the crap out of a bunch of watermelons. So it's just a lot of fun footage. But the YouTube channel, the engineering YouTube channel that they sort of did this in conjunction with, has posted the video of the process of how they actually made it. So that's linked into the video. So if you follow the video all the way to the end, you can link on that and see how they actually engineered the thing, which is really cool. They open it up on the inside so you can see the air cannon and how it all works, which is really cool.
Yeah. It looks, well, it obviously it works.
Yeah.
And it's fairly, from what I saw, it was fairly simple. It's not too difficult to figure out. Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. I love stuff like that. Like, to me, seeing something like a giant Nerf gun, like
things of your childhood existing in reality.
The one part I really loved about the video was there's one part where he actually baits his nieces and nephews into playing Nerf
into
with
having
him.
a Nerf war with him.
Yeah, and then he like comes out with without telling
I've got
them.
a Nerf gun, but not really telling them what kind of Nerf gun.
They all run around the corner, and then they see the Nerf gun. They all run. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, no, stuff like that just great. I love it.
Yeah,
I just love it. It's just so good, and it looked awesome. So,
speaking of other parts of our childhood coming into the realm of actual
reality.
Yes. I'm gonna sort of jumble up the
that's
order here and
perfectly
talk
fine.
about Pokemon Go, because who doesn't want to catch them all in real life? So this app was launched a little while ago, and it's an augmented reality game for any of our listeners and viewers out there who aren't familiar. An app you download onto your phone, and it overlays onto a map of where you are in real life, and will send you notifications when you're out and about walking around in your community. Places you can go, Poke stations, you can get supplies, Pokeballs, and as Pokemon appear as you're walking down the street on your augmented reality map, you can catch them and train them, and they've got fun little nods. So Poke gyms where you can train and battle your Pokemon are often overlaid on real gyms in real life.
Yeah.
So, stuff like that. That's kind of fun.
The sad thing is that it's still not in Canada, so you can't.
The States, Australia, and someplace else. Yeah.
I'm not sure where the other place is at the moment, but they said it's on its way.
However, that being said, people are so enthralled that actually there have been a rash of like real world injuries where people have been like walking along with their face buried in their phone, waiting for like a Pokemon to pop up, and have like walked into holes and walked off of curbs and like run into trees and revolving doors. And so this whole article was all about like the hazards of playing Pokemon Go in the real world. Proceed at your own risk. So
the funny thing is, like, there's a whole bunch of like if you go on the internet right now, there's tons of these stories of people getting hurt or crashing into things or causing the accidents. But there's also stories of people like breaking into police stations.
Well, not breaking into. So one of the
they've been trying to get into them or something. I don't know how that.
No,
works.
It's in Australia.
Yeah.
There's a police station that is listed as one of the Poke stations. And so people just randomly wander into the building and are just kind of there in the lobby taking up space, distracting the police officers from, like trying to do actual police work as they're there trying to buy Pokeballs in the lobby of a police station. So the police, this is the best part, have put out a press release saying you don't actually have to come inside the building to like activate this Poke station. Please don't come loiter in the lobby. We have work to do. Yeah. So That's
I'm just waiting for the moment when it's released up here and we just start seeing people walking around aimlessly, just with their heads in the phone.
well, I think
We
We see that
we see
anyway,
that
but I
already,
mean,
yeah.
this is gonna be one of those moments where there's actual like police scanner. Someone actually put out there like it's okay. They're just playing Pokemon Go.
But
Apparently they were out there pretty late at night. Some like people just loitering around outside.
But yeah, so most of the people who get injured, they're minor, and they're like, it's my own fault because I'm wandering around with my phone in my face. So there haven't been any sort of like lawsuits or anything or any kind of attempts to shut down the game yet, which is good. Most people are taking personal responsibility for their own injuries, which is good. But the article was also talking about how like sometimes the Pokemon can like pop up in really
Random places.
like, well, random and like potentially actually dangerous, like in the middle of an intersection where like people have to like run into traffic to catch it, or like there were a couple people who said they were in the middle of driving and a Pokemon popped up like on their dashboard.
Yes, they do actually. They do actually like come into your car and stuff like that.
So yeah, so I'm glad that all of the injuries thus far have been minor. Hopefully it stays that way, but I guess we'll see. And so now from augmented reality on this planet into outer space, we have some hard science news, which I think is super cool. So on August 5th, 2011, NASA launched the Juno satellite that was set to travel to Jupiter and realize an orbit. And it'll be in orbit to collect information about Jupiter. And on July 4th, Juno attained that orbit and is now setting up to position its solar panels to make sure that it stays powered, and official data collection will begin in October. Now it's doing sort of all of its initial setup phase and things like that. So that's super cool. A 5-year journey to get to a planet that we haven't really been able to study much about.
No, and the other thing is, at the moment, like the amount of shielding that it needed, like some of the specs on the actual satellite itself is quite intense, because of all the radiation that's in that area. They said that the Jupiter has such a huge magnetic field around it that they were afraid of having issues. But apparently they're getting signal.
Well, and it really was so exciting because it launched without incident, made the 5-year journey without incident, managed to make the burn and get into orbit without incident, and now is going through all of the setup protocols relatively without incident, which, any projects that NASA does,
they've always had something.
Even the Mars rover in transit, there's always the question of, if it gets there, is it actually going to work the way we hope it's supposed to? When we were engineering it, is something going to happen en route that, or a calculation that we didn't factor in, or, the reality of actually being out there in space, anything can happen. So it's that much more exciting that it's actually there and ready to start sending information back to us. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Because space is awesome.
So what do you think? Do you think we should be having fun with space stuff?
Well, I mean, it's always an interesting thing, right? So, and like you said, it's always better when it actually functions. And it still gobsmacks me that you can still get information from Jupiter, but yeah, you can't get information from Bakerville to here. You know what I mean? So it's always been blowing my mind all my life. How do they get so high-end cellular activity or whatever, and we can't even? I guess we're all just too busy playing Pokemon Go, walking into one another, burning up your data plans. So
being distracted by building giant replicas of our favorite childhood toys.
That's right.
Because I mean, like I said earlier, it's like people are already doing that, walking around, not even paying attention. So now it's amplified with Pokemon Go. So Yeah, it's going to be a fun little thing. I am unfortunately too old for Pokemon, so that was beyond me. So my daughter likes Pokemon a lot. Olipop Cosplay. There's our shameless plug.
Yes.
Yeah, she likes Pokemon a lot. So I kind of live vicariously through her. But yeah, my anime is like Astro Boy and Battle of the Planets. That's where I come from.
Yeah.
That is the realm that I live in as well.
That's a good realm to be in.
I
Yes, but-
seem to have missed out on the Pokemon era as well. But that's all right. Whatever. My kid, he loves Pokemon.
Mm.
He's getting into the whole.
I came over for dinner
Yeah.
early this evening specifically so that we could sit down and have a game of Pokemon because he got new decks and was so excited to show me. So.
Yeah, he's been pretty pumped about it. So
Mhm.
I've been slowly learning how to play the Pokemon game. So
Nice.
sorry.
But that's the news.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the exciting portion of the evening.
Yes.
We're going to talk to Shane all about Just Be Cos and all of the awesome stuff that he's got going on in his store. Just listening to you talk about some of the stuff you have coming up makes me so excited and wish that I were in town more often. So I guess for me, I'm a sucker for origin stories. So like you were saying, brick and mortar shops are so rare. Where did the impetus come from to start this up?
We are a cosplay family, so we've been involved in the Edmonton scene for probably about 6 years, I guess, something like that. Slowly making our way through as civilians and whatnot, and then we got tired of having to go over here or ordering this. Is this going to come in on time? Blah 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 blah. So, and we wanted to get involved in the con community somehow. So, rather than just hopping onto a booth and start selling T-shirts like everybody else does, we decided, well, how about we start carrying supplies so everybody can come in and buy their own materials so they can start making stuff. And then to further that more, why not just open, an educational side? So that those two things kind of went hand in hand. So we managed to find a space in Sherwood Park in a strip mall that's an adventure to get into. I'll just say that. Once you find it, you'll never forget where it is. But the space was perfect for us. So I put a partition wall in the center. And like I said, next Sunday, the electrical is going to go in. So the classes will probably commence sometime second last week, like third week in July, if not the end of July. And then, we'll slowly take it from there. Like I said, the first couple of classes, there'll be Eva foam armor building because that's something that everybody is interested in. And we have new Dream foam that took 5 months of research to get. So it's smooth on both sides and it's a completely different beast than your standard floor mats. So it's something that has to be kind of taught a little bit. The first few people that actually bought the sheets, they were kind of like, well, I don't know how this works. It's not working. Floor mats are completely different. We have to heat it quite a bit and then get it to function, where this one is less heat, more cutting and gluing together. And then you just either plastic dip or whatever your choice of sealant after that. So just because it's kind of based more on the European side of cosplay. So we have, all the thermoplastics available. We have Kamui books. It was a pleasure to finally meet Kamui. We've been talking with her for, probably better close of a year, back and forth ordering books and talking with her and whatever. So we actually got to put a face to the person. So it was really nice meeting her. And she's she's as sweet as everybody thinks she is. So, and her husband is as well. So, and we met Yaya Han. She's a great lady as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those two cosplay icons, they as down to earth as they are, they don't have to be, but they really are. So it's the same with Ivy Doom Kitty. She's extremely busy all the time, but she's very down to earth as well. So we've managed to meet most of the cosplay goddesses over our few years. But now it was time to help out the people that don't know. Where do I go? How do I do this? So that's just where.
Yeah, where to begin, right?
Exactly. So a lot of people I met at Eat Fest, we were supposed to do the thing at Eat Fest, but it became kind of busy. A lot of that was the traffic that I was getting. How do I do this? I'd really like to do this, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what to buy. I don't know whatever. And I said, well, we offer classes, and then their eyes lit up. It's like, classes? And said, yes. So it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very busy in here. People are doing their snoop right now, so I've seen a lot of famous locals in here, and that's good to see because we've been friends with them for a bit now. So they're checking the place out and helping us out as it goes along. And then once that starts to happen, class-wise, and that, it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be nice and buzzy in here, and that's what I like about it. Not necessarily in the till, but just buzzy people in here learning stuff. And that's because we're all about the cosplay community. We love the community. There's like no negativity, and even if it is, people get hammered for it pretty quick. And that's what we like about it. So everybody managed to stay on the positive side of it.
Awesome. So yeah, you're starting off fairly strong. You're going with right with the Eva board, right off the harp, right off the hop. Why do a cosplay store in Edmonton of all places?
Well, I mean, Calgary is bloody expensive, so there's a good answer. I would like nothing more to live near the mountains, but we live in the Edmonton area, and we wanted to help out the community. So we figured, well, let's open a cosplay store, because it's more of there's only, as far as I'm gathering, there's a store similar in the States, and then there's us, and the rest of them are kind of European bound. So we had a snoop, and we've asked, they've all become our friends since then, because we're all kind of a close-knit little community there, of how they kind of run their spots and that kind of stuff, because we really didn't know a whole lot. We were just kind of fumbling forward rather than going backwards all the time. So we're still fumbling forward and never looking back. So we keep meeting contacts every con that we go to, and gathering more product and stuff that helps people out. So just in the past little while, we've got things like thermoplastic gloves. We've discovered thermoplastic gloves where you don't have to burn your hands anymore. So people are all like, "What is this?" So we've checked it all through our thermoplastics, hot glue, super glue. It just all comes off of the gloves. So you keep your dexterity, and you can do all your work without burning your hands anymore. So
awesome.
And the Hot Wire Foam Factory, which is a company from the 80s. They've been around for ages, and we discovered them for cutting like pink insulation foam, just doing your shapes without even sawing or anything like that, no mess. So that has been a true injection of asset into our company as well. And just things like that, things that were lost in the craft world, because we've had to do a lot of trailblazing, talking to craft suppliers, because they're just used to the old lady shops. So most of their lead times were like 3 to 4 weeks, and we said we can't do that. We have to order. We can't order stuff every day because we don't know what people want. So we've managed to break it down. So now it's between 3 to 4 days of order picking. So we managed to get that done. We just got our contract with Arto Wigs, which is another one, because they don't really deal a whole lot in cosplay, though a lot of cosplayers use Arto Wigs. So we've had to break some barriers with them. So we have Arto Wigs now. We're going to be getting a contract with Mithril Wigs perhaps pretty soon. She still doesn't know what to do with us. We're their first account. So we met her at OdaFest and said, we want to carry your wigs. And she just kind of like, okay, I'll have to figure that out. So figured out. And Simplicity Patterns, Fabricland lost their license last year. So we are now the only Simplicity Pattern dealer in Canada. Cosplay Flex, which is a great product out of Germany. Thermoplastics, we are the only Canadian supplier. So I mean, we have some things under our belt
that nobody else has in this area. That's incredible.
So it makes us a big deal, I guess. But if you come into the store, it's really not a big deal yet. So we've aspire not to have a shop any more bigger than this. I like to keep things nice and minimal, not just walk into a shop and just be lost of staring, and then you're overwhelmed and walk out. So
it also helps with the feel of the place, right? When you walk into a store and you can actually talk to people about what's going on and what they're looking at, and especially in a like cosplay it's fairly big, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions about it, and different levels of what they know and what they may not know. So it's always good to be able to walk into a store and actually, maybe talk with the owner or something like that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like Edmonton has a huge cosplay community. Like it's unfathomable how many people are actually cosplayers in the city. So once you actually pull over and pull open that manhole sort of thing, there's a complete sewer of the cosplayers. And they're all knowledgeable, they're all friendly. So we all banter off one another. So whoever can't answer it, I just send off a question and I get the answer right away, just because everybody's experienced, right? And the people that are new to the fan expos and whatnot, I mean, Edmonton's fan expo, when it first started, there was, at the Shaw, it was maybe 1,000 people and maybe 4 cosplayers. And then all the way to last year in Edmonton, where they have the entire expo center filled, and 40,000 of them are cosplayers. So people that are new to it and wander in with their jeans and t-shirt, they're like, I really want to learn how to do this, but I don't know where you get this stuff from. So we're hoping to get a lot of those people wrangled in and get a even bigger community, so then they can teach the people that they find to, at least set them on different directions. So it's a great feeling to dress up now. There's always been that apprehension, especially in this province, with the hillbilly side of it, and it took a while for everybody to become friendly and comfortable dressing up in full-on costume. Nobody makes fun of one another at the fan expos. They're all like, "Wow, what did you do with that?" And there's no "you're a loser" sort of thing. So, and it does take a while, so to get used to that. So that's where we're standing. That's what we like to do, is to help people out. So even if they are the experienced cosplayer, but they had that certain question that they needed to ask, but they didn't want to ask, that usually comes up in conversation, and then they get that answered, subliminally. So yeah,
that's one of the things about this community in Edmonton that I've found over the many years that we've been doing this.
It's great.
It is a fantastic community.
Supportive, which is really nice.
Yes, we know many cosplayers in this area, and they're all fantastic, and they're always willing to help out. And a lot of the people who I've ever talked to, even the ones that don't cosplay, really appreciates the people who do, and especially the craft that people go into to build some of the costumes that they make. And we've seen some incredible creations that people have done over the last few years. It's been absolutely amazing. We've done a number of cosplay videos, and just for me, going to a lot of these conventions for as long as I've been doing it, we've seen the growth in the community over the last few years, tremendous growth over the last few years, and so it's so incredible to see a store like this pop up, where people can actually get a chance to maybe learn a little bit more, and actually have access to some of the supplies that they would never have access to. It's tough. Like, if you are a cosplayer, you would literally have to go online, find your pieces that you would need, or you'd have to find some random store and get one thing here and then one thing over here, and then you'd have to go over there, and it can be a pain. It can be a real pain. So having a central location, and especially in Edmonton of all places, is awesome. I'm so excited for this. So awesome. So what kind of things, when I walk into your store, are some of the things that we'll find in your store?
Yeah, on the retail side of things, I mean, you've talked about some of the lines you're going to be carrying, but again, not wanting the store to feel so overwhelmed that people come in and get lost.
Right.
What's the retail side of things going to be like? What's it going to look like?
Well, when you walk in, the walls are all white, so that way all the product pops out. That's the way that I sort of liked it. So you walk in, and right away you'll see the thermoplastics right in front of you, as well as the cosplay books, which there's more coming. I'll be getting some foam smithing books from Germany and the US. So I'm going to try and build up my book library because those come in handy as well. Patterns, I have a little lounge because you need to have a little sit down every once in a while. Products like iodide poly, which is a polyester dye that everybody's been looking for. So we just basically, when we were starting, we asked the community, what would you like to see in the store? Rather than, hi, we have this, come buy it. So that way it helps both of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that I hate more than having a lot of dead stock in the store because it just sits, and then you're usually just dusting it and not selling it. So that's why I kind of like the minimalist thing, and we're always keeping our ear to the ground. Speaking of ears, I have Aerodynamic Studios, which is handmade in Nashville, Tennessee. So they're high-end elf ears. Some of them get all the way up to 10 inches long.
Wow.
And they stay 10 inches long. They have a wire that goes inside of them.
Wow.
The most popular ones are our 6-inch anime ones, so that's usually for your Link, or you can basically go a broad spectrum of elf with the 6-inch ear. So I've sold out of those, and now we got, I brought in the cheap side of it, so I have some fangs and some lower quality ears and that kind of stuff, just so there's a price spectrum, because not everybody has a big budget. So, and I like to keep things fair that way. Once again, like I said, patterns. So we carry Simplicity, McCall's, Butterick. We have some Tandy designs like the holster, gun belts, and people are discovering about patterns as well now. And all three of these companies now making cosplay patterns, which comes in handy. So people come in and they can start collecting patterns that way.
Which is awesome, and I think a great indicator of the times we live in, which is so exciting. That these pattern they've been around for years and years and years and years and years and years. And the fact now that they've got cosplay lines in their patterns that's awesome.
I've noticed that companies like Simplicity, because they have such a huge annal of product, that they've actually gone back into their archives and reintroduced things. Like there's a lot of Victorian and Edwardian patterns.
For steampunk stuff, all of their corsetry
patterns. Or they take a picture of a Cersei type character, and now it's a Game of Thrones pattern. So it just kind of, and on top of that, they're releasing now, they have DC stuff and Marvel stuff. So we just got our Deadpool sewing patterns in, and then the, here.
So if my friend Marcus is watching, here is a Deadpool pattern.
Oh.
He's he just bought a giant like 4-frame like canvas print that goes across his wall. That's Deadpool. I mean, the guy is nuts about Deadpool.
Here's the Deadpool design.
There it is.
And then we have the DC Bombshells, which is all World War II inspired. So there's Supergirl.
Awesome.
And this one's my favorite. If I was a girl, I'd be getting that pattern. Batgirl. So yeah, they're starting to come out with newer ideas, as well as, why not dredge up some of the old stuff and make it anew again. So, and I would have to say that it was because of Yaya Han releasing her own cosplay line with McCall's that everybody started thinking, what is this all about? Because a lot of people still don't know what cosplay is. So it's, especially around here, I mean, more and more people, and, in Canada in general. I mean, in Europe, it's just kind of old hat. So they have their cons in closed circuits, and all the big celebrities go and do their cons in a quick 3 months. And then they're back doing their thing, writing their books and releasing videos and that kind of stuff. Here it's more spread out a bit. I think the first con we went to was Regina, where they really want to cosplay, but they have no outlet whatsoever. So all they have is Michael's and Home Depot to work with, and it's odd that they've really never heard of Google, because there's lots of things that they could get on the internet, but they haven't seemed to get it yet. But there is a guy who's trying in Moose Jaw Makers Supply, so he's going to try and do a cosplay type store as well. So he's got Warbla and some Smooth On products and that kind of stuff, and yeah, he's making a go of it. So I wish him all the best on that, because his province really needs a cosplay outlet, that's for sure. Because a lot of people that I saw in like Regina, there was, your super duper cosplayers, and then all the way down to tin cans and cardboard just to get their point across. So I saw like cardboard Optimus Primes and a few links with, just, on the backside it said whatever, eggs on the backside of it, but it was all painted on the front, So yeah, Regina really needs one. I'm digging the anime conventions, because the staff really know how to organize stuff, and I commend them all the way from Suricon. We tried Suricon this year, and that's just at a high school in Red Deer. Super organized, all volunteers, and super organized for what it is. We'll be going.
Animathon is coming up here in the next little while as well. That'll be in August, the beginning of August here. So that's always a good one for everyone. For cosplay, I would say that Animathon is always one of the biggest cosplay events that Edmonton has. Pretty much, if you go to Animathon and you don't dress up, you will be the outcast in that one.
And that's what's happening now, like even at the Edmonton Expo too.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you wear, like I've seen some guys, like even at OdaFest, they just had a top hat on, but normal clothes. And to me, that just kind of looks silly. It's like either go all the way out or don't go at all. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They kind of stick out like a sore thumb a little bit.
No, it's awesome, because that's sort of the culture that we've started to become when we go to these big conventions, and there's more and more of them popping up all over the place.
There is indeed.
And so, we have more and more times where we can actually go and do the thing that we love, which is cosplay, which is great. And now there's a store. Okay.
So the more personal side of cosplay for you, what was the first costume you made or built for yourself? And in the years since you have been doing it, what's the favorite one that you've made?
The first one was Jane Cobb, because that's the easiest one for a man to do. You buy the toque and put some cargo pants on and a holster and some sort of neat shirt, if not a Firefly shirt, and you're done. So that one I still do, because that's usually like my Friday outfit, because that's what everybody wanders around to.
Now,
that's still a pretty good costume.
Do you have the Jane toque?
Yes. I bought it from the brown coat, so that way it goes to charity as well.
Yeah. Trina has a brown coats too, because from the Alberta brown coats.
My other one is a steampunk that I just finished for Calgary. I just kind of threw it together after months of consuming. I don't know if anybody out there has tried thinking of steampunk stuff, but it consumes your mind for months. You stand there in Home Depot staring at copper tubing and like, what can I do with that? And then the old guys that work there is like, can I help you with something? And it's like, no, you can't help me. So it gets like that. And then, Calgary was coming up really fast. So I thought, well, instead of trying to do, because I was basing everything off the British side of steampunk, which is heavy copper and Victorian. And so I thought, well, how about I do, more of a Western kind of thing. So I had bought a proper top hat. I went to Chapel Hats for the shameless plug and got a proper top hat, and got some Princess Auto stuff and got a leather coat or leather vest, and wore some, traditional Dickies button-up stuff, and then threw it all together, and it seemed to work. So that one was pretty low budget. I must have did okay, because the Calgary Steampunk Association took pictures of me. So I guess
That's always
that's
good.
Awesome.
yeah, that's approval enough. But my top of the line is my traditional Jedi. So it's all like monk's cloth and muslins, like it's a proper outfit. It gets super sweaty. I like no sweaty cosplay. As much as I would love to build, a Master Chief or whatever, I would just be an angry, wet mess in there. So I just let those guys do it because they take their helmets off and come visit at the booth, and it's like, oh, you poor bugger, especially at EFest because the air conditioning wasn't working.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys that were in full garb like that, they were walking pretty slow.
There was a couple of stormtroopers that did not have their fans inside their helmets at that time during EFest, and I think they were regretting that.
It's so rough. As someone,
that's like number one for me. If I'm doing a helmet, there's a fan. There's going to be a fan inside. I guarantee it.
As someone who did mascot duty in high school and university, I can only imagine what a full suit cosplay like that feels like. It's
as much as I would admire to do that on myself, I just know I just can't do it. So I'm trying my next project. I'm trying to come up with some sort of Japanese samurai armor. It's been in my head for a little bit now, and so I'm trying to figure out a method where I'm not going to turn into a puddle. And then I'm also trying to work on a Sith costume as well. So maybe I can incorporate both of those into a Sith costume. It always seems that when I put my Jedi on, like at Calgary, it was Star Wars Sunday in Calgary, and that's when the sun broke out. So it was like 25 degrees, and so.
Yeah, and it wasn't really sunny there during that convention.
Yeah, it was pretty cloudy all the way up until Sunday morning until I
it was.
put my vest and my cloak on and walked out the door. So it was like, yeah. So I wasn't terribly happy, but I managed to get some people took some good pictures of me, I would assume. That's my problem. I don't have any pictures of my cosplay. Other people do. So
everybody else has those costume pictures.
So, I mean, I have no pictures of myself. So I don't even know what I look like in my steampunk or my Jedi or anything like that. So I did see my Jane Cobb because somebody took a picture and posted it on the expo thing. So I got to see that. It didn't look too bad. I had a full beard rather than a goatee, but whatever. So nobody chased me down with torches. So
awesome. So when people come into your store, and they want to do one of these classes, what are some of the steps that you guys take? Like, what do they end up building? Let's say let's go with your foam board class. What are they going to learn at that foam board class?
I believe Natasha has bracers in mind for the first class. I'm not sure what her true schedule is, but this is going off the hearsay network. She was going to do bracers and then breastplates and all the other things that she does well. So like thigh plates and that kind of stuff. So she was going to teach people that in different classes. That way you can. It's better to learn rather than to just be taught and then kicked out the door. So we're going to have to. We're ironing that out a little bit more, but. The way that my brain works is the electrical needs to be done first. Once the electrical is done, then I can move on to the next step. So, but yeah, the schedules, that's what the first schedules are. The thermoplastics should be okay because I'll be teaching it and it'll be nice and chaotic and everybody will have some fun at it as well as learning. Because like I said, it's some classes that are offered in town, they're only one thermoplastic. And then unfortunately you don't really get a chance to see
try out the different kinds.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And what is a little bit of cosplay without chaos?
Well, that's just it, right? I mean, every cosplayer I know, they have the idea and then they let it slide for 6 months, and then roughly 3 weeks before con, that's when they're building it. So, and that's the way they like it. No matter how many times you try and offer advice, that's just the way they work. So.
Well. I have had just a fantastic time talking with you tonight, but we are very quickly actually running out of time.
So Shane,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and
Mhm.
telling us all about the awesome stuff that's going to be in store at Just Be Cos. Can you share with all of our listeners and viewers, if they are as excited as I am now, where can they find you in real life on the web? How can they get to you and take advantage of all the awesome stuff you've just been talking about?
Yes.
Definitely track us down on Facebook, Just Because. You'll find it at Just Because Craft. Find that. I'm using that as our sole newspaper. So that's where the scheduling is going to happen. That's where our products happen. That's where everything happens. So I'm utilizing Facebook to its full potential. You can find us at Unit 133-120 Y Road. We're in the same complex as the Midas on Y. Google Maps lied. So if you're following Google Maps, we're 2 minutes west of where they say we are. And that's getting ironed out as we speak. Open Wednesday to Sunday, 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. Make it nice for people who work, that they come in and get their stuff before they go home. We do deliveries as well. For extra $6, we will deliver your product to your house.
Awesome.
And that's all I know right now.
Okay, so
Oh, and sorry for those watching and listening. Just Because is JUST space BE space COS, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. Now
Yeah.
everybody can find you.
all right. Yeah, thank you again for coming on the show tonight. But I like to, sort of end the show off by, talking a little bit about the different events that are happening around the city. And I did mention earlier, Animathon. Animathon is coming up in the next little bit, and that is on August 5th to 7th, and that is going to be happening at Grant MacEwan, or MacEwan University. I think it's MacEwan University now.
Yes.
They've changed it to MacEwan University. And so, yes, if you go to animathon.org, you can find out all the information there. You can also find all the information about the various events that are happening around the city by going to northernnerdnetwork.com and clicking on the upcoming events tab. And there you will find all sorts of things that are happening.
Plus the calendar, it's all on the calendar.
That's the upcoming events.
Dan made the amazing website. He gets a whole bunch of information from Kelly from the Nerd List, puts it on the calendar, all for you guys so you know what's going on.
Yeah. Yes, Kelly from the Edmonton Nerd List has been so fantastic because he just feeds us tons of information.
Yeah, we always thank him. Thank you, Kelly.
And also on the calendar as well, that's coming up in the next little while, is Fragapalooza. I'm very excited for Fragapalooza because we are now a partner with Fragapalooza.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will have them. And by the way, we have Fragapalooza on next week. So on next Sunday at 8 o'clock, which is our new time for the summer, we are going to have Fragapalooza on next week. So if you want to know more information about Fragapalooza, tune in, and it'll be awesome.
I might be here again.
Yeah, in person. Again.
I know.
This is...
What is happening?
I don't know what's going on with our world right now.
2 weeks in a row.
I know. This is I'm very excited because I love it when Chelsea's in the same room. It's fantastic. So yeah, that is coming up in the next little while. And then we also have lightsaber training that happens every week. I like to say this one because we show up to there every Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock at Churchill Square. Lightsaber training is happening, but it's not in Churchill Square at the moment. It is actually behind the library for the next I think few weeks. I'm not 100% sure how long it's going to be back there, but it will be there for the next little while. So don't go to Churchill Square. You won't find it there. It's behind the library at the moment because there's so much going on. I think Taste of Edmonton's coming up here in the next little while.
The square's full.
Yeah, so there's lots going on in the square.
Going down, check it out. Janine and Mackie are awesome.
Yes, and they are very good friends of this network.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and you are going to Worlds in the next little while, are you not?
Yeah,
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that before we leave.
So I know Janine and Mackie from Fight Stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and the organization that we do our Fight Stuff with, Fight Directors Canada, is hosting the first ever World Stage Combat conference in Toronto for almost the entire month of August. So it's Fight Directors Canada and 4 other stage combat organizations from all over the world. There's the Society of American Fight Directors, the Society of Australian Fight Directors Incorporated, the British Academy of Stage and Screen Combat, and the Nordic Stage Fight Society. So all 5 of those organizations will be coming together with students and fight directors and choreographers and fight masters from all over the world. And it's split up. There's a professional side of the conference where anybody who's an advanced combatant level or higher, an instructor or fight director can come, and it's kind of like a symposium setup where they can come and take all kinds of classes, and they're going to be putting together a big choreographed fight with everybody who's attending that side. And then there's the certification side of the conference where people still working through their basic, intermediate, and advanced certifications and learning different weapons disciplines can come and certify and have a chance to get certified with all 5 of those organizations. So I'm headed to do that, which will be
that's so exciting.
Swords.
And you're such a sword nerd. So yes, that is coming up in the next little while as well.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And yeah, Janine is going down there as well.
Yeah, Janine's in my class. We're going to be roomies.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like I said, Churchill Square, not Churchill Square, behind the Edmonton Public Library. There's lightsaber training, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and you get to learn how to like choreograph fights. Which is so much. I love it.
You too can be a Jedi or a Sith.
It is one of the days.
If you want to go to the dark side, apparently they have cookies. I suppose that's a personal choice.
Yes.
You know?
All right. So that is pretty much it. You guys can find the Northern Nerd Network all over the place. You guys can find us on our own website, which is northernnetwork.com. You can find us on YouTube, where we have many, many, many videos that we've been doing over the last number of years. And that is there. It is on Northern Nerd Network. YouTube.com/Northern Nerd Network. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Northern Nerd and on Twitter at Northern_Nerd. And that's it. That's all. I want to thank everybody out there. And I want to thank Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
So much for coming on to the show tonight. And Chelsea for joining me in the same physical room, which is so exciting. And that's it. That's all. I'm going to thank everybody out there for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Outro music. Boom, 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 boom.
See, you know it off the top of your
I know.
head. I think you should sing it from now on.
That's the way
what it should.
Boom, boom, boom.